Oh, yes, I can hear myself. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome to another live with Fahd Dawood. Guys, we talk about real estate, life, and sometimes a little bit more than real estate as well. The idea is for you to be able to ask me live questions and for me to be able to answer, not just for questions that you've already asked me um, in the comment section, because I always encourage you guys to ask me any questions that you might have on real estate prior so that I can take them up and answer them. Okay. So today I'm going to take up some questions, but going forward, guys, what I'm going to be doing, we're going to be doing maybe 2 lives, or maybe we keep it a singular live, but we're going to have a more focused discussion, which means that either I will try to make the complete live specifically to answer investor questions, people who are coming into the Dubai market and are looking to invest in the Dubai real estate market and have genuine questions, right? So I'm going to be answering them. And on another live, perhaps we will take questions specifically from agents. You know, that's a great fraternity as well. I know you guys are out there trying to do your best, service your clients, make money, so on and so forth. So the idea is to help you guys as well with your questions as well. Let me just quickly welcome everybody who's here. Holina, Abisri, Skyscraper Broker, okay, the Tall Tower Broker, okay, Peter, our Baj, Bricks Architect, Ryana, Habunza, Davide, hey brother, how are you? Vaz Yunus, Salam, Sarfansha, Walaikum Assalam. Okay, somebody said Assalamu Alaikum, Walaikum Assalam. John Zabe. Okay, so Peter has a question. How do you determine if it's the right time for an agent to move from leasing to sales? Okay, I'll answer that question. No problem. That's an easy one to answer. Okay, it's from leasing to sales. All right. Madavlania, John Zabe. Okay, so everybody who's here, welcome, guys. Good day to you too. Okay, let's answer your question, Peter. Okay, it's a very simple question. Now, I didn't start my career focusing only on leasing or only on sales. I went into my career when I went full time with both hands. Like initially, it was primarily only sales, but when I went into it full time, this is more than 10 years ago. I went going at it with both hands on both sides, right? Generally speaking, this is what a real estate agent's guide should be. In the first month, they should be able to rent a property. Okay, they should be able to rent a property, and within the first 3 months, they should be able to sell a property. Now, this can change. They might be able to sell a property in the first month. They might be able to sell a property in the first 2 months. They might not do a rental in the first 2 months, right? But generally speaking, you should be able to rent a property in the first month and then do a sale in the first 3 months. Now, here's the thing, okay? It's a little tricky. Some companies, they try to focus you. If you're coming new into the market, they try to tell you, like, listen, just do leasing in the beginning and then move on to sales. And they will actually force that upon you. So you've got to deliver on the leasing aspect. And I don't think that's wrong. That's the way they work. And I think that has worked for them. From a real estate perspective, as an agent perspective, I think you've got to also look at things from your perspective. The thing is, if you get boxed into and are told that you only need to be doing leasing for until they tell you that you can move on to sales, you're going to be very leasing focused. Okay. And I don't think that leasing a property is easier than selling a property. They're both a certain skill set, but at the end of the day, you're dealing with people, right? So I think if you go into the game thinking, hey, I can easily sell a property too, you will be able to. How do I define this? At this stage, in 2023, this is how I think. I could think differently maybe after a few months. Check this out. If you're going to lease a property, you need to speak to a landlord. That landlord needs to trust you. Now, if you're going to try and take that property exclusively from that landlord needs to trust your skill set and your ability to be able to get the property rented. right? If you can't demonstrate that ability that you're good enough, he's not going to give it to you exclusive. Same thing applies to a sale pitch, right? If you want a property exclusive and you want to be able to sell it, you've got to prove to the seller that you're good for it. Maybe you're not that good right now. Maybe your inexperience shines through, and that's fine. So maybe the landlord will tell you, like, look, I give you the opportunity to rent it out for me, but there's going to be other agents working on it. So what? Big deal. Take the opportunity with both hands. Go for it, right? But what I'm trying to get to is, at the end of the day, you're dealing with people. You still got to convince them, whether he's a landlord renting a property or a seller selling a property, if that's how you're going into the business, right? On the other side, if you've got a tenant, the tenant's still got to like you, man. The tenant's still going to have to or want to work with you. Same thing with the buyer. So you're going to have to demonstrate enough capability and capacity to the tenant and the buyer that you are their agent who can help them close this transaction with confidence and efficiency, right? So if you are good and know how to deal with people and are professional business-wise, it shouldn't be that big a difference, right? But that said, rentals can sometimes be easier. People are making decisions that are I'm going to contradict myself here if I say people are going to make a decision worth 50, 100, 200, 300,000 dirhams. But, big deal. You still got to convince them, right? You're still dealing with people as opposed to somebody buying a villa for 3 million, 30 million, 300 million. Still got to convince them, right? So, in a nutshell, answer to your question, moving from leasing to sales, you'll know if you're in a company that forces upon you that for 6 months you can't go into sales, so be it. Follow their format. It works for other agents, probably work for you as well. But you will know when you're ready to move to sales. Okay. Private driver 73. Hello from Fahd, France. Okay. Hello to you too as well, Fahd. Okay. Did we have any other questions? Sorry. Okay. Okay, I've got a question over here. Okay, there's tons of questions coming in here. Guys, let me try to, before we get to, is my team okay that I answer these questions before I get to the actual topic? Is that okay for us?
Okay, so let's start with Q&A.
Q&A? Or Q&A in the end? Okay, guys, listen. Come on. Guys, I've got quite a lot of questions. Can I also... Huh? Mix it up. Okay. All right, mix it up. Okay. Guys, if you had a question, guys, something happened to my Instagram and I've lost some of the questions here. So if I don't answer your question, actually something didn't happen. I pressed the wrong thing, so I went forward. If I don't answer your question immediately, please send me the question again. Okay. So I've seen the questions that have come through. Let's start on point as well to what's the main topic, and this is specifically for agents as well. Communication tips for agents. Okay, check this out, guys. Oh, by the way, I've got this book out. I think they can buy it online on Amazon. You can buy actual hard copy. We'll be doing a book launch soon. If you're in Dubai, once you see an advertisement for it, please click it, come to the book launch. Perhaps the team will give you a free copy or something like that. Okay, or we can meet at least. So let's look at the communication tips for agents, guys. Listen. Now, I'm going to actually squeeze in a decade and a half of experience or more, my life's experience, over 40 years. Okay. How do you communicate well? See, look, guys, listen. Communication is a two-way street, right? So it's not just you about communicating to your client. It's about your client also communicating to you. So I'm going to give you 3 main points that you need to understand when you're coming into the real estate industry of how you would be able to become a better communicator. I'm a big picture guy, okay? So that's where I'm going to come from. If you're not, I suggest you practice becoming a big picture guy. I don't know how you would practice that, but here's the thing. If you held like a soft rope like mushy thing in your hand and you said, oh, this is a rope, you're actually looking at just one small part of what you're holding at. Perhaps you're holding the tail of an elephant, right? So step back, learn to step back and try to look at the global full picture. That's part of communicating well with the client. So I'm going to give you the bigger picture first, and then I'm going to get into the skill set, because I personally believe if you understand the big picture, the smaller things will take care of themselves. So the number one thing when you're communicating with a client, remember it's a two-way street, is first seek to understand them. A lot of people, and perhaps we go through life in this way as well, we try to be understood by the other person first. So if you're selling a project, you want to sell a project first. You don't want to tell them what the USPs, the unique selling points of this project are. Or you want to tell them like what makes this project great and so on and so forth. The first thing, in my opinion, ideally you should be doing is actually trying to understand the other person. Maybe he's an investor. Maybe he's at the information gathering stage. Maybe he needs his spouse to be a part of the decision-making process and the spouse is busy. So you gotta meet the spouse as well, right? If you understand their needs first, you're going to be then able, part two, help and service them. Okay, hold on. Let me explain something. Your first part is to understand their needs and go to the maximum extreme of understanding your client's needs, all the way to up to, let's say it's a buyer looking to buy a villa and the person has 4 children, all the way understanding what are the gender of the children, right? Most people, they sometimes, if they've got boys, they might give them one room to share between 2 of them. If they've got girls, everybody gets a separate room. If the, people mix it up, right? So your job is to understand all the way. Like sometimes they allow their children to share a bathroom. Sometimes they don't want to share a bathroom because they know their children very well. Sometimes their kids are very easygoing. They can stick them into a maid's room. Sometimes I've had parents tell me that, oh, that guy can go into a maid's room. He'll love his privacy, right? So you've got to go to that level to understand them. How do you do that? You have a format to follow, so on and so forth. Or do you join our company and understand how we do that? Now, check this out. You're going to try to understand their needs. Go to the maximum extreme. The other extreme is you become friends with them. You're not their friend, okay? You're not your client's friend in the beginning. You might become their friend because you have aligned interests, you vibrate at the same energy, you like each other. You might become their friend. But in the beginning, they've come to you for a specific service. Do not try to become their friends and do not blur the lines between staying professional, because your client's going to feel that, and sometimes maybe they don't want to become your friend. But if you've done business together and the relationship elaborates and transforms in a friendship, that's fine. In the beginning, please understand your role and your place. You're their advisor. Understand their needs. Don't try to become their friends. That will come later, if that is how the relationship is going to naturally develop. I've got clients I've known for many, many, many years. We've done lots of business. We're not friends. We are on a professional level. Then I've got clients, we've done business, and I become friends with them as well, right? On a personal relationship level. That's number one. That's part of communication. Understand their needs. Secondly, you've got to go into this whole situation with the mindset of helping and servicing the client. You're in there to help and service a client, guys. Remember this. You're there to help and service the client. You're not there just to make money. You're not there just to sell a property. You're not there just to take their money. You're not there just to sell Dubai real estate. You're there to help and service the client. Does that make sense, right? The extreme on this. You're there to help and service the client, and you're there to help and service a client to buy a property or sell a property in Dubai. You're not their personal concierge. Not yet. Not until you become friends with them, right? I've had situations where agents were then being used as taxi service by the client to pick up ladders, for the new properties. Now, I don't mind if you do that as a favor and they're like really asking you for that, or you could pay a lorry or a pickup truck driver to do that, right? So one extreme is you're there to help and service them, but don't go overboard. Like, don't be their taxi service, picking up groceries for them, so on and so forth. Not until it's needed, right? Like, for instance, I had a client during the pandemic. He went down with the COVID, or he had COVID or something similar. I don't know what it was, but he needed one specific medicine, and everybody was scared. But I had my team deliver him that medicine, and he said, like, oh, you know what, you saved my life. God saved his life, not me. But he's like, you're my friend, you saved my life. And of course you do that, right? I'm not saying don't do that if they need specific help, but try to not go in with that mindset where you're going to be picking up ladders or groceries for them, right? Some clients will walk all over you. So you've got to maintain that professional boundaries. Last but not the least, communication. The global picture is you've got to very professionally set up expectations. For example, if somebody's buying a property from you, and they ask you a question like, when will my registration in the Dubai Land Department happen? You've got to be in a position to give them the exact timeline or the precise timeline. You can tell them it'll take 2 weeks. You'll tell them it'll take 2 months. Because when you set those expectations, it's very, very critical that then they will know exactly what's going to happen at what stage. If you don't know, you don't have enough experience, you're not going to be able to explain to them the process, and that's going to be a problem. So I'm going to get to the skill set part of communicating well with clients. This is the global bigger picture. Get this. You're there to actually understand their needs first, because that's how the communication dialogue opens. Once you understand their needs, you can then help and service them. You're there to help and service your clients. Last but not the least, you're trying to manage and set up professional expectations with them, because that allows you to be able to help and manage their complete real estate cycle. Okay, so let's go and answer a few of these questions as well. Okay, as I said, if you guys got any questions, please do ask me. Everybody who's over here. Okay, let's answer these questions. All right, guys. So Skyscraper Broker asks this question. Well, would you advise, I think he's saying, because everybody who's joined in, please welcome. Let me just take your questions, guys. I've got to go a little bit up. Let me take this question from Skyscraper. Would you advise a client to take a risk on a larger-than-life, record-breaking project that is being developed by a decent developer who in past has delivered smaller-scale projects only? There is bit of risk. It says RI. There's bit of risk. Here's the thing. Every client is different. You've got to customize a strategy for that particular client. Now, if you're trying to sell a project to a client, that project's going to be record-breaking and iconic. You're already thinking about risks. This client perhaps is not suited for this project. Okay? Who goes into record-breaking projects like the Burj Khalifa? Who goes into buying record-breaking watches like, the Jacob & Co. Bugatti watch or Jacob & Co.'s other timepieces? Who goes in? Like, they're generally people who like to be first movers. They like to have iconic trophy assets. And iconic trophy assets always come with their own risks, because regardless of the way the market's performing, sometimes you might go into the market to try to resell an iconic trophy asset. You might not get what you paid for it. So be it, right? People who buy $1 million watches aren't going back into the market trying to resell them and know that they'll get like 2 million. Sometimes you might. But would I recommend that? Yes, I'd recommend it. And it all depends. It depends on the person. If somebody's in the market to buy a BMW 7 Series, but has the money to buy a supercar for $1 million or 1 million dirhams, BMW 7 Series is how much? I think it's almost 750,000 dirhams. But let's say a supercar is about 1.5 million. Okay, let's say that. If this gentleman's in the market to buy a BMW, that's his profile. which would have a resale value, which would have a different, like a BMW 7 Series, a 4-seater, 5-seater, 7-seater, so on and so forth. Supercar is not his cup of tea. So be it. That's the answer. But if the guy is there thinking he wants to buy a BMW 7 Series because he's telling you how fast it goes, and then you can see that he's got 4 other cars where his family can sit with him and enjoy life with him and travel with him, and then you could always tell him, like, why don't you get like a McLaren or a Ferrari or a Lamborghini for yourself? Like, have you ever thought about that? There you go. So then that could happen, right? So let's take something from from YouTube. Walid, who also has, your also name is blockchain DeFi developer. Yeah, I've got your question here, so I'm gonna answer it right now. Let me read his question. Can a single person register a real estate company with 100% ownership and manage the agency alone for the first few years with the RERA license in Dubai? Let's answer 2 parts, right? Can a single person register a real estate LLC company with 100% ownership? That, to the best of my knowledge of today, yes, you can. So the requirement for a real estate license to have an absolute Emirati or a GCC local sponsor is no longer applicable. Can you make it into an LLC? To the current best of my knowledge, yes, you can. So that answers your first question. With 100% ownership, yes, you can. I'm not sure if you need a partner for an LLC, but maybe you don't. So yes, you can, right? And manage the agency alone for the first few years with the RERA license in Dubai. Again, yes, you can. The only caveat I would say over here is managing the agency alone is going to be a lot of work. So I would imagine that you're at least going to be, you might be the sole broker perhaps, or the agent, but you're going to be hiring support staff, admin staff, personal assistants, so on and so forth. That would be ideal. That would be recommended. Walid Munkar asking, the business activity is real estate brokerage, secondary real estate leasing, buying and selling. That's fine. Yes, you can. And then your third question is, could you kindly inform me of the approximate cost to register the mentioned company considering a 1-year virtual office lease, HRE, note excluding the visa? Okay, I think I would estimate between 25 to 50,000 dirhams just to get the license alone. Okay, this could be cheaper. Okay, this could be cheaper. Like, so cheaper side would be about 25,000 dirhams. The more expensive side, maybe about 50,000 dirhams, because maybe you need a professional consultant to help you open the license. Sometimes you don't. But if you do, then you got to pay their fees to make sure that they iron out all the wrinkles and do it right. So 25 to 50,000. This virtual license thing, basically, essentially speaking, obviously, just for the uninitiated into the Dubai scene, your trade license, activity license, or any economic activity license is generally tied to an office physical space. So you've got to actually have physical space for you to be able to apply for a license or to be able to get any visas to be able to legally work in Dubai. Now, sometimes business centers were able to afford you a virtual license where you just have a desk, and then that desk allows you to come and go as you please, and then they can actually, I think they can actually show that you have a license. I think that activity is not legal, so I don't recommend that. Number one. Number two, I think it's been phased out. You have to have a proper license, proper space. I think so, okay? I could be wrong, and you can double check on this, all right? So good. So I've answered that question. Let me come back to, so everybody who's joined in, let me just thank you very much. French Riviera, Saluhi, Peter Miranda, cheers. Okay, so skyscraper broker is, would you advise the client to take the risk? Again, I think I answered this question. Yes, it depends on their situation. Valley Jat, Hanji, okay, Hanji, how are you? Deepak, Amir Boss, Anne-Marie, Go to Wiseman, Zabur. Hey, welcome guys. Welcome everybody who's here. The Desert Dreams, Kayan Realtor, Amir, Zahid, Maksud, just going through, saying hello to everybody. Guys, if I missed you guys out, sorry, okay? Tipu, Assalamu alaikum, how are you doing, brother? Salah, Tabassum, F. Craig, Fadl. Okay, I've got another question here. Let me take. Somebody also asked me a question. Like, I think it's about how to join a real estate company. So, sir, I want to join real estate in Dubai. I want to learn about what's the prices and eligibility. I don't understand what you mean by prices and eligibility. If you're trying to invest, you can ask me. But if you want to join a real estate company in Dubai, you should ideally so prices and eligibility. Here's what I'll tell you. You should have 6 months worth of money with you saved up. Okay, 6 months, which means to be able to live in Dubai. Okay. You should be able to get your driving license and pay for it, okay? You should be able to take one of those courses. It costs about 10,000 dirhams, okay? So 6 months of living expenses should be about minimum, okay? 5,000 dirhams, depending on your lifestyle, to 10,000 dirhams per month. So you should have at least 30,000 to 60,000 dirhams per 6 months. You should have a 10,000 dirham buffer to be able to get your driving license. That's what's up. Okay. So somebody had a question. I've missed it. Sorry. Pardon me. Excusez-moi. Okay, Ankit. Your take on advising a client with a decent risk appetite to buy an... Okay, Ankit, you're going to ask me the same question. In a record-breaking branded project being developed by a tier 2 developer who have in past only delivered small scale... Oh, Ankit, actually, you've put skyscraper. Guys, yes. Like, yes, they can buy. It depends on the client's profile. Are they capable to pay for this? Is this their first property, right? If it's not their first property, perhaps they shouldn't. So CEO710 asked me a question. Do you prefer to work in engineering consulting companies to learn the skills of dealing with customers, and what books do you recommend? Guys, I don't know much about engineering consulting companies and I can't recommend books. So I'm not going to be able to answer that properly. Aman, Maher joined. Assalamu alaikum. How are you? Alaikum assalam, Maher. Hope you're well. Okay. As Suhail, I asked the same question as Ankit. Thanks for answering. Yeah, okay. I thought it was, for a moment, I thought maybe you guys are the same people. So let me also take some questions from here. Somebody made a comment, Straight Path 8356. The sweet spot for the ratio of own capital to bank loan capital would be 6:4. 6 million of your own capital and 4 million finance from banks for 15 years. Okay, very interesting. Thank you for that information. And expecting a net ROI of 3%. This way, the portfolio gives amazing net rental income post all expenses and EMIs, and one can hold the property so long as to get amazing capital appreciation. Possible? I'm not sure. I've done the math on this, but let's see. Maybe the math makes sense. Okay. I've got another question over here. I want to answer this question from Asadullah. No 2 is, hi sir, I asked you a question 2 times but you didn't answer. Okay, let's try to answer it this time. I want to get a job in Shoba Realty as a real estate agent. So what should I do? I am from Pakistan and Shoba is an Indian company. So is it possible to get a job for me and then please get... Okay, first of all, yes, you can get a job in Shoba Realty. Doesn't matter if the owners are from India or Pakistan. Actually, the owner from Shoba, so it doesn't matter in Dubai. Okay, that's the truth. Okay, in Dubai everybody works everywhere. There's a lot of tolerance. It doesn't really matter where you're coming from, and Shoba has a lot of Pakistani agents as well. Now, if you're new to Dubai and you want to get a job in Shoba Realty, you're going to really have to demonstrate a high level of skill set or something that you're bringing to the table that would differentiate you from all the other people who are looking to work in Shoba Realty locally based, right? Who have Dubai real estate experience. If you don't have that, it's going to be tough. Number one. Number two, the way it works is you're going to have to apply to the HR team or to one of the sales director. They've got maybe about 10 sales directors or something around that. So you're going to have to apply to one of their sales directors to ask them to be able to look at you favorably and then go for an interview and see maybe if they hire you or not. But here's the thing. If you're just looking to get to Shoba Realty because they're a developer, perhaps you could also consider some of the other developers and you could look at getting hired by one of the other developers, right? There's Damac, there's Samana. Perhaps you could go to a smaller tier developer, right? Okay, cool. I've got a question over here by Abrar CL3412. Please comment on Miraz as a developer, and more specifically on their Nadal Shiba project in terms of location, quality, rentability, and capital appreciation. So let me give you a little bit of a background on them as a developer. Look, they are government owned, and they've now been combined together with Dubai Properties under the Dubai Holdings umbrella. Miraz on their own have delivered projects. So Miraz delivered Blue Waters. Miraz was responsible for City Walk. If I remember correctly, it's not that far ago, but I'm forgetting this. So City Walk, good project, good livability, good capital appreciation. They know what they were doing. They've done a very good job. Blue Waters, very good. But at the same time, Miraz was also not just responsible for developing the retail environment in their projects, such as Blue Waters and then City Walk and some of the other projects that they've delivered. I think Jumeirah Bay, they've delivered the Bulgari residences as well. But they were also tasked by the government to develop other retail arenas that then become tourist and local resident hotspots, and obviously the whole economic value chain goes around it and everybody makes money, right? They were asked and tasked to develop other destinations as well. So they're responsible behind La Mer. Okay, La Mer is a place where you can go shop, eat, hang out, close to the beach. Kids can have a good time. Box Park, another retail development. I've not been there a lot. La Mer, I've only been there one time, guys. Also, Last Exit. All the Last Exits, which are a truck food stop kind of thing. Like the way truck food works. What do you call them? Like, food trucks. We call them food trucks. Like in other colder countries, food trucks are very normal. They are in different places, downtown, so on and so forth. The way food trucks have kind of like worked out in Dubai is instead of food trucks going around everywhere, they go to one place and then that place becomes like that food truck place. Last Exit, all the Last Exits, I think the 5 or 4 spots of Last Exits that are running in Dubai are all being run by Miraz. So that gives you a little bit of a background on Miraz, right? So they've done great developments. Blue Waters, very successful from a capital appreciation point. City Walk, very successful in demand. And then they've done the other ones as retail developments. Like other developers like Imar Nakhil, they were tasked to develop the retail in their own development, whereas Miraz went out and they had to. And obviously the mandate comes to them from the government, so on and so forth. Now they've moved under Dubai Holding, which oversees Dubai Properties, Miraz, and other real estate aspects of the Dubai government. So the thing is, you're asking me like, what will happen with the Nadal Shiba Gardens project in terms of location? Look, location's pretty good. A place where you can own your own plot of land and develop your own house. I see this to be one of those projects that will appreciate. Quality, I can't speak on the quality. I've not visited one of these places, so I can't. Rentability, again, it will be able to, you will be, because there aren't a lot of villa options close to the downtown area, yeah? Real estate, freehold villa options, yeah? And then capital appreciation, like, look, going by what's happened in the other ones, I think we will get capital appreciation here as well, right? Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Let's come back to developing your skill set as a realtor, okay? So I talked about having the full picture, knowing exactly what you're going to be, so improving your communication, understand this, you've got to have the full picture first so that you go in, understand your client's needs, but don't go overboard, right? Number 2, you're going in with the mindset to help and service your clients. Number 3, you're going in setting up professional expectations for clients. Now, how about the skill sets, right? Listen, if English is not your first language, work on it, because Dubai English is one of those languages we transact business in. If Arabic is not your first language, but you're dealing with a lot of Arabic clients, then, polish up on your Arabic. If writing is not your skill set, develop a writing skill set. Use ChatGPT or Grammarly or one of these other free or paid services, but also learn to write. The other thing, one more thing, guys, I want to explain this to you guys, is you have to have a very, very clear, not have to have, but try your best to explain things very clearly. Like I see agents, they try to explain things the way their mind understands it. But when you're trying to explain things to a client, you might have done 10 similar transactions, or you might have rented a property 10 times to other clients, but that client might be perfectly brand new to Dubai, never rented a property, right? So when they ask you a question and you answer that question thinking about how you already know everything, that's a problem. You've got to go into your client's shoes, think about them as first time in Dubai renting a property, and then explain to them things as if they know nothing, because they do know nothing. And you've got to go there at that level to be able to explain and build that to them. Like sometimes I've seen clients, sometimes I've seen people ask a question and the question is literally like, you've got to explain like 6 steps to answer them, and you just give them like a 1-step answer and they're confused, more than confused before. All right, guys, last question I'm going to take on. Andy joined. Hey, Andy, how are you? Youth Arise Awake. Okay, Youth Arise Awake. Wow, what a revolutionary name. Okay, I'm going to answer this question. Waleed Munkar asked, hello, sir. Can you please explain it for me as well? Who are real estate developers, agencies, and agents? Who pays whom in the real estate field? Okay, this is a little bit longer, and I think I might have a actual video on this. Okay, Waleed. Who is a real estate developer? A developer is like Emar, Shoba, anybody who's developing a large scale or a small scale project is a developer. They could be developing a large master plan project with 300 villas, or they might be building a large building with 300 apartments or 100 apartments or 80 apartments, or they might be building like 3 villas. Well, 3 villas, we're not going to call them a developer, but let's just call them at that stage, we just call them a seller in the Dubai market. Okay, a seller is somebody who owns a property and is trying to resell the property. They've bought it from a developer. Okay, second part of your question is agencies. Agencies are just real estate agency, right? They have brokers, they have agents who are looking to sell or help buyers buy a property, sellers sell a property, right? That's what they're trying to do. And who pays whom in the real estate field? Okay, that's a little bit tricky, but also simple. If you are selling a property from a developer, the 99% norm in the Dubai market is the developer shall pay the agents the fee. In this scenario, the buyers don't pay an agency fee. If you are selling a primary if you're selling a primary project from the developer, okay, we call this a primary sale. If you're not selling a primary but a secondary sale, which is an individual seller, in this scenario, generally speaking, the buyer pays a 2% fee. You might have also negotiated and convinced the seller to pay a 2% fee upon sale. Okay, that's how it's paid. I hope I was able to explain this. So when you're selling from a developer, his property, the developers incentivize and pay you. One of the things that the buyers don't have to do is they don't have to pay you, right? If you're selling a secondary sale, buyers generally is the norm, pay a 2% fee. But if you're really good at what you're doing, then obviously, and your seller trusts you, they're going to want to work with you, and you will be charging them a 2% fee as well. All right, guys, I want to say goodbye to everybody who's attended. Thank you very much if you've stuck around, and I really, 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 really appreciate it much. If you've got any questions, please send them in the comment section, guys. Not today's comments, but any of the videos. We'll take them up. We'll answer those questions, okay? If you don't have any questions today, I'll just move the car up here. Don't forget to fill up a form below. If you want to work with us, if you want to work with us, there is a form below. Just you can actually fill it up and work with us. If you want to buy a property with us, you can fill up a form again and work with us and to help you buy a property or to sell a property, right? Last but not the least, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and bell icon. It encourages me, my team, to make more videos like these. And obviously, show us some love in the comments section. Ciao for now, right? Goodbye.